We also have some hints on how to solve or factor trinomials or perfect square trinomials. Notice that we have two basic patterns. One where we have a plus the middle term and one where we have a subtraction of the middle term. When it's a plus the middle term, it factors into a plus b squared. When I have a minus the middle term, it factors into a minus b squared. So how do we do that? Well, let's look at an example here. X squared plus 6x plus 9. First of all, I need to be able to recognize that as a perfect square trinomial. So how do I recognize that? Well, I look at the last term and find out, is that a perfect square? Yeah, it's 3 times 3. The middle term then has to be 3 plus 3. So 3 times 3, 3 plus 3. If that case follows or that sets up, then you're able to just look at this pattern and write this then as a plus b, where a in this case equals an x and a b equals the square root of this number, because it has to be b squared, which would be a 3. So my final solution would be x plus 3 squared. Easy peasy. Now this x plus 3 squared, great time to mention this now. This does not, did you hear me correctly there? Does not equal x squared plus 3 squared. Does not equal that. And there's going to be so many times that we want to do that. Does not equal that. Rather equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. It has this middle term. So pay attention to that. All right. X squared minus 16x plus 64. Can you recognize that as a perfect square trinomial? Well, I take the square root of this last number, 8, which makes 8 times 8. This middle term better be 8 plus 8. And it is, it's a 16. But it follows in the second pattern where it's a minus that middle term. So my solution then is just simply, if I recognize that my a is an x, and my b is an 8, then this factors down into x minus 8 squared, by recognizing that it's a perfect square trinomial. And I encourage you to practice being able to recognize those types of things. Last one. Let's see if I can fit it on here. 25 x squared minus 60x plus 36. Well, there's a couple of things that we can look at doing first here. What do we recognize? Well, we recognize that we have a combination of issues going on here. So this first term is a 5x squared minus my 60x plus my 6 squared. Now, because I had this combination of middle terms here, now how is the best way I want to explain it to you? Yeah, let's look at the middle terms, because that middle terms will pop on out. So let's look at it as 5x. It's a minus a 6 squared. And then if we multiply that out, this becomes, as a check, 5x minus 6 times 5x minus a 6. First times first produces a 25x squared. Middle or outer terms is a negative 30x. Inner terms is a negative 30x. Outer terms is a plus 36. Collect my like terms. And there you have it. That is the check that I had right there. So I recognized that I had a square in the first term, square in the second term. There was a negative, so it follows that second pattern. If I was able to recognize it as a perfect square, factors to that. And I wasn't convinced. So I just multiplied that out, 5x minus x, 5x minus 6 times 5x minus 6, just to multiply it, just to get a check. And I found out that what I got matches with what I started. So I was able to confirm that. Now we suspect this one to be a perfect square trinomial, but it's in two variables. Well, that's no big deal. I can still live with that pretty easy. So if it follows the plus pattern up here, I recognize my a, which is going to be a 4x. That's my a. And my b would equal a 5y. If I'm able to recognize my a and a b, this factors then to a plus b, which is a 4x plus a 5y squared. That's all there is to it. If you want to multiply this out and check, welcome to do that. I highly encourage that. And I see that the middle terms do add up to 40xy. I see the check there, so I'm satisfied.